Hello, darkness, my old friend. It is the offseason. The New York Jets got to fix their team. I want to talk about 6 under-the-radar free agents I think the New York Jets should target.
Jets, Jets!
Welcome in. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. Boys and girls, I go live every Monday for my live call-in show, so if you don't like what I have to say here, you can let me know about it over there. And if you want to get in on some more Jets talk, all you got to do is head over to Talkin' Jets Tuesdays, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. Myself, O'Leary, and Green Bean breaking down all the latest Jets news. But let's hop into today's video of the day, and this is 6 under-the-radar free agents that I think the New York Jets should target. We got a few areas that I want to address, primarily offensive line, wide receiver, backup quarterback. I am going to go a few different directions as well within this top 6 players, but those are the areas that I think are the most critical from where we left off last year and where we are currently sitting. As far as what we're going to have to work with, you guys have seen some of my videos on the salary cap. It appears the Jets are going to have somewhere between $50 and $60 million worth of dollars to spend in free agency. I already accounted for the draft picks that are going to have to be added in and whatnot. So this is kind of the framework that we're looking to work within. So you got to find some pretty good players, offensive linemen, starting caliber offensive linemen, and keep it all under a little budget here. So without further ado, let's hop into my list. The first person I want to take a look at would be backup quarterback Ryan Tannehill, coming over from the Tennessee Titans. He is 35 years old. He is veteran backup quarterback. Obviously, I want steady Eddie, someone that can just hold down the ship and isn't going to do anything crazy. He's got a career 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. I would like to see less turnovers from our backup quarterbacks. And he's got the connection with Keith Carter and Todd Downing. So that might be the reason why the Jets wanted to hold them around. Maybe they felt it was easier to attract a backup quarterback. I don't think there's any future beyond just a backup role for Ryan Tannehill at this point in time in his career. He's longer in the tooth. No team's really going to be rolling the dice on him. He's not going in to compete for a starting job anywhere at this point in time. I really like Jacoby Brissett a lot. I would love to go after him and get him in free agency, but I get the feeling he's still capable of potentially starting in this league, and he may not want to go the route of being the backup. If he did, I would probably put Jacoby Brissett over Ryan Tannehill here, but I would be very happy with Tanny as our number 2 quarterback. This second player I want to talk about because they were connected to us last year. The Jets tried to fill this out a few different ways. We got some good success out of Quentin Jefferson, but I want to take a look at Fletcher Cox. This is someone that I really think is going to be on the move. The Philadelphia Eagles are kind of falling apart. It seems like there's going to be some retirements from some of the older players, but Fletcher Cox has let it be known that he wants to continue playing. He can play at a high level. So if the Eagles are looking to maybe do a little bit more of a reset, then I could see him signing with the New York Jets. He was so close to signing with us last year. He said that in an interview this offseason. So maybe the Jets make a similar offer to him with Jefferson coming off his season, and you lost Al Woods to the injury with the Achilles. I think the price point's going to be drastically different. I'm cool with bringing back Quentin Jefferson as well. Like, I'm not, saying we have to get rid of him by any stretch of the imagination, but Fletcher Cox is a captain, been a captain for a long time staple in this league, and it seems like the Jets have sort of had a finger on his pulse for the last little bit here. So I would look at bringing Fletcher Cox in, especially because I don't think it's going to cost a whole heck of a lot of money. Next, I want to look a little bit more. I'm going to split this up. We'll go 2 and 2. We'll do the less attractive options first, and then we'll go into maybe some of the more attractive options as far as wide receiver and offensive line goes. I think the Jets are going to need more than one weapon at wide receiver. And one of those weapons that I would like to bring in is someone to replace Randall Cobb, and that's Curtis Samuel, the receiver out of Washington. He's 5'11", 195 pounds. He's only 27 years old, so still young. Think like Jamison Crowder type vibes almost. 62 receptions this past year, 613 yards and 4 touchdowns. This could be the guy that replaces Cobb in the slot. I don't want to see Cobb back here. It's not that I don't love the veteran presence. I like that, but I want to get younger and have more weapons. And Cobb's not a player I particularly want to see out on the field. Now, I think there's still it's entirely possible that the Jets just say, okay, hey, you're going to fill out one of these back-end roster spots for a wide receiver, and he's going to be here. But I would like to upgrade. I think this is big. Not to mention Curtis Samuel hasn't missed any games each of the last 2 years. So health-wise, he has been a staple of it. I've liked him ever since his time back in Carolina. I think this would be a really nice option for the New York Jets if they want to add a little bit of youth, but veteran leadership at the same time to the wide receiver room without it being like 110-year-old Randall Cobb. Next up, I want to look at a veteran offensive lineman, someone that has ties to the New York area, and that is Kevin Zeitler. This is someone that I wanted the Jets to sign when he was leaving the Giants as a cut casualty or cap casualty a few years back. He's playing for Baltimore right now. Obviously, the connection is he played in New York with the Giants for some time. Maybe he wants to come back. Maybe he's got some friends and family in the area that he would like to maybe see here. Not to mention the Jets are going to be looking for offensive linemen. We might be willing to pay a little bit more of a premium for a slightly older tackle than maybe he might get elsewhere out on the market. He plays in Baltimore right now. He had 4 penalties last year. He has had over 1,000 snaps in 8 of his 12 seasons. And other than that, I think he's basically above 800 snaps in like every season. The guy's like basically always healthy. He has missed 2 games, or he missed 2 games in 2023 with a knee injury. It didn't seem like it was overly bad. It was a sprain or something like that. And according to some comments that I saw, it doesn't look like Baltimore has tried to have any extension talks with him yet. And look, at age 34, I can understand why that might be the case. The New York Jets, I'm looking for someone that can hold down the fort for a year while we draft players to possibly sit behind, our veteran guards. I would like to move on from a Laken Tomlinson. That is a massive cap hit. You could basically take his money and give it directly to Kevin Zeitler. And then if you wind up drafting someone like a Zach Zinter in the 3rd or 4th round of the draft, he can sit there and not be forced into the starting lineup right off the bat. I like when we can groom our guys just a little bit more. So Kevin Zeitler, guard for the New York Jets maybe in 2024. The next one up is how we are going to solve the offensive tackle problem. And if you guys have watched my free agent offensive tackle video, this one might come as a shock to you. And I've been trying to give it a little bit more thought from an outside the box sort of perspective, and that is Trent Brown. Now, you might know this as like the guy I had, I think 7th or 8th on my list in terms of tackles, but then you have other players like Tyron Smith and David Bakhtiari that I think is going to get cut. Those guys are injury prone. They haven't really, they're getting up there in age. There's some concern there. Then you have some guys that play right tackle. You have some guys that have issues with penalties. You got the Mekhi Becton side of things. Do the Jets wind up wanting to bring him back? But Trent Brown, 6'8", 370 pounds. He's only 31 years old. So this is like way younger than what we're currently at with Dwayne Brown as it stands right now. He has left tackle and right tackle flexibility. And this is one of the key parts as to why I would bring in Trent Brown here, is because we don't know what tackles we're going to be able to get in the draft. A lot of us want Joe Alt or Olu Fashanu at left tackle, but then the next like 3 or 4 tackles are going to be considered right tackles in Mims, Fuaga, Latham, those types of guys. So if you don't know who you're going to be able to get at number 10, maybe it makes sense to bring in someone that has positional flexibility that allows you to go either side, because at that point, then maybe you can keep AVT at guard like a lot of us want to try and do. So I really like this part from Dwayne Brown, his flexibility. He had 3 sacks last year, gave up 17 pressures, and he had 3 penalties on the season. To put that in perspective, Mekhi Becton gave up 12 sacks, had 50 pressures, and had, I think it was like, I might misquote it. I think it's like 15 penalties. It was not good. 15 or like 18 penalties. Mekhi had a lot of issues on the offensive line. So this is a uptick in terms of production and in terms of just, staying on the field. Now, there were comments that came out of New England that said he was habitually late and was struggled to be motivated. Now, I would argue that the team that owns the number 3 pick in the draft had a really bad season, and that could be why there was a little bit more effort needed to motivate someone. Now, he has come out and said those are flat out false. This is nothing real whatsoever. So I think he might be feeling a little bit of a way like, hey, so there's someone talking shitty about me in the New England locker room, or the coaching staff, whatever it is. They clearly don't want me here. I'm going to go to their division rival, and I am going to sign with them because I know I could get some good money from them because they obviously need some offensive linemen. And 2, I get to go against the Patriots the next 2 years. I think Trent Brown might be feeling a little bit agitated because of how this sort of went down in New England. So maybe he comes over to New York here and provides us a little bit of flexibility from the tackle perspective. Not to mention, new regime in New England. Again, Jared Mayo is the head coach, and he's been there for a little bit, so maybe it's not too drastic of a change, but maybe that's part of the issue with Trent Brown. Maybe he doesn't want to be there because there is some stability that caused him some issues with like the rumors and leaks and stuff. So Trent Brown, an interesting one that I think the Jets should look to target here. The next one is not technically a free agent right now, but I think it's going to end up happening, and that is Courtland Sutton out of Denver. He's 6'4", 216 pounds, and he's 28 years old. He provides the perfect frame that I want as our wide receiver too. I want a big-bodied wide receiver, someone that can go up and get contested catches, someone that can help us out in the red zone because we are dead last in like every red zone metric we've ever had. This is someone that I think could really shake free. And the reason is the Broncos. Wow, that is enormous. Let's see if I can fix that real quick. The Broncos are currently $24 million over the cap as it stands right now. Once they cut Russell Wilson, remember they did not play him so they could release him or trade him. No one's going to trade for that contract, so he's going to get released. Cutting Russ and making him a June 1st designation would add an additional $35 million against their salary cap, bringing them to $59 million. And that's splitting it over the June 1st thing. It's going to be like an $80 million dead cap hit for Russell Wilson. So this guy more than likely is going to be a cap casualty. He saves the Broncos about $9 million. And his contract isn't crazy. So this is also could be and probably will be in my trade scenario situation where if the Jets wind up moving Zach Wilson and they're looking at cutting someone like Courtland Sutton anyway, bringing him into New York, whether it's, because we had to trade with him with Zach Wilson, which is essentially a cut anyway, or him cutting and then coming over to New York. Either way, I'm pretty happy with this. He had 59 receptions, 772 yards, and 10 touchdowns last year. That was a career high for him. He played for Nathaniel Hackett when Hackett was the head coach at Denver. And we have his wide receiver coach in Zach Asiani, who was Denver's wide receiver coach from 2018 when Courtland Sutton was drafted until 2022 when Hackett was cleared out of the coaching staff. So we have him over here. Maybe he wants to go back to someone that he knows. Or maybe he had so much success without those guys this year that maybe he doesn't want to come over here. But I really like him. He's only missed 2 games since 2020 when he had that knee injury. So I think he's the model of health from where it stands right now. And he posted a little bit of a message that made it seem like he has played his last down in Denver and, saying thank you to the fans, thank you to the teammates, all the coaches. I don't know what my future holds. I think Courtland Sutton is on his way out. He is a captain on Denver. I think it's exactly the type of personality that the New York Jets and Joe Douglas tend to bring in for this regime. So now we have solved both a tackle that has positional flexibility, a guard that has been healthy and stable, and then you have, Fletcher Cox, who's been an all-pro defensive lineman. You got the backup quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, and then you have Curtis Samuel filling out the slot and Courtland Sutton as wide receiver 2. Now you head into the NFL draft, and you don't have to worry about any particular spot. You can truly go into number 10 and say best player available is who we're going to take. Guys, let me know your thoughts of these 6 under the radar free agents. Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, go Jets.
Jets!